Good evening. My name is Aishwarya, and I'm from third semester A section Computer Science General. And my topic is related to the history of microprocessors and how far we've come since the introduction of microprocessors in 1971. I think it's very important to know about the history of something in order to estimate where it's going to be in the future. And I also found it very interesting to see how far we've come in terms of technological advancements in such a short period of time, which is why I chose this topic. And I've titled my presentation as well as my report writing as the microprocessors over the years, which I think is very apt for the content that I'm sharing. And throughout the research process, I found out many interesting facts about microprocessors, which honestly surprised me. And I'm very excited to share them in my presentation as well as my report writing of the same title. With that, let's move on to my PPT. My presentation is titled Microprocessors Over the Years. This is my case study presentation on the said topic, and with that, let's get right into it. We're going to be looking at these following topics in this presentation, starting with the early years of microprocessors, followed by a very important law called the Moore's Law. Then we're going to look at some hurdles and how they were overcome, ending with a very exciting future of these microprocessors. The first microprocessor was introduced in 1971 by Intel, and this was called the Intel 4004, and this was a huge advancement in the technological sector. In the past 50 years, microprocessors have grown exponentially. Firstly, the performance was described in terms of clock speed, which was in megahertz and gigahertz, but since then the parameters have changed, and let's see why in the slides to come. This Intel 4004 had only 2250 transistors, which seems infinitesimal compared to the gargantuan 16 billion transistors of the Apple M1 microprocessors in 2020. But at that time, this was a huge accomplishment because this was only the size of a fingernail, but had the computing power as the computers that filled entire rooms. The advancements in microprocessors followed a very important law for many, many years. And let's see what it is in detail. This law is called the Moore's Law. One simply cannot talk about advancements in microprocessors without talking about Gordon Moore and the Moore's Law. He was a co founder of Intel and he noted that the number of transistors in a microprocessor doubles every 18 to 24 months. This would provide twice the number of functions and also increase storage by a factor of 2. But after a few years, this law faced some hurdles. These problems began when the increased number of transistors caused heating and power requirement issues in the microprocessor. This is when the focus shifted from clock speed to other parameters like footprint size, reduced heat generation, and power consumption. The Moore's law became less and less relevant as this happened. In this slide, we can see what Gordon Moore had to say about the Moore's law throughout the years, and it's been pretty positive so far, but inevitably, the law isn't as relevant as it once was. After 40 years of the Moore's law, the advancements in microprocessor technology continued to reach new heights. It was founded that the performance can be increased without actually increasing heat production or power consumption by using dual and multi-core processor architecture. Using multiple cores instead actually increases the performance of the microprocessor without increasing heat production, but this did not increase like any problems in power consumption or heat production, so it was considered as a win-win for everyone. These multi-core processors paved the way to the future of microprocessor advancements. Now let's look at where these are today. Almost every single one of the devices we use today definitely employs these microprocessors. We find newer, smaller, sleeker computers with better performance parameters every single day, and it only keeps evolving. And microprocessors in them are better than ever before. This begs the question, what can we expect in the future when the technology is evolving this fast? Well, we could definitely expect better reliability, security, and sound microarchitectural foundation. Nanotechnology also has a huge role to play in the future as well. We can look forward to seeing microprocessors combined with nanotechnology, IoT, as well as energy efficient tech in the mid future. And these bring huge advantages in terms of eliminating physical problems, maintenance issues, and performance issues. To summarize this presentation in a few words, Moore's law has been fundamental in the advancement of microprocessor and it cannot be denied. But like everything else, it's ran its course and paved way to the future, which brings more exciting and innovative technology, focusing on many more parameters than just clock speed. And that was it for my presentation. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to conclude by saying that the research process as well as the report writing process had been very, very educational. And I'd learned a lot on the way making the presentation as well. This has really taught me a lot about how far technological advancements have come in such a small period of time. And it's also very exciting to see what's in the future for us because in the speed that it's evolving, technology can go a very, very long way in a very short time. So, this definitely was very eye opening in terms of advancements in tech. And it's definitely motivated to research more on different technologies in the near future as well. So, thank you for giving me this opportunity to present my microprocessors over the years. And thank you.